Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going to do another segment of Stretch of the Week. Today we're going to do a stretch for your neck, specifically the back of your neck. With all the time we spend behind the wheel and sitting at desks, the muscles on the back of your neck can get really tight. And what it's going to end up doing is over time causing your head to sit like this. If you check out my blog, I have a whole post on how this can affect the entire position of your body. So when all these muscles start to shorten, it can cause kind of a weird bending compression on your spine. And over time, you can lose height. You can also lose bone density in your spine. So when you see people with those long-term pronounced curves in their spine, you know, the old lady kind of look like this. That's because from keeping poor posture for such a long time, they've lost bone density throughout all the vertebra here in the upper back. And then at that point, it's really hard to reverse. So you want to take time to address it now. This is going to be a really simple stretch. All you need is something overhead that you can put your hand against. So you're going to put your hand against whatever object is above you and use that to pull your arm back behind you. So there's a few things you want to keep in mind when you're doing this stretch. First, you want the blade of your hand up against the object. You don't want it the palm of your hand or the back of your hand, the blade of your hand. That's going to put your shoulder in a position to get the most stretch against your neck. The other thing you want to think about is that you don't want to extend your shoulder really far out. You want to keep your shoulder down, so don't shrug your shoulder up towards your ear. Keep your shoulder down. And while you're doing this, I'm going to show you how you can kind of move your head to get a better stretch. So, step one, blade of your hand against the object above you. 2, don't shrug your shoulder, keep it down. And then all you're going to do is slowly walk forward until you start to feel a stretch. Okay, and I start to feel it right in here. You should feel it somewhere along this length here. You might also feel it in here behind your collarbone if the muscles in the front of your neck are really tight too. So once you get your position set, I'm doing my right arm. You want to look to your left and start moving your head around until you find where you get the best stretch. So for me, that's right in here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand and just rest it on the very top of my head. And I'm not going to pull, I'm just going to let the weight kind of hang on my head. And that'll get a much more intense stretch. Something else you can do is if I find that my head gets a stretch here, I can also turn my head even, so lean your neck forward and then turn your head towards your hand. And try that too, see if any of that's tight. And you want to hold these stretches for about 1 minute to 2 minutes to get a good stretch out of them. You'll find that you have a few spots that are a lot tighter than the other spots. And those are the spots that you want to spend more time in. So once you're good on the right side, then you want to do the exact same thing on the left side. Blade of your hand against whatever object you're using, shoulder down, walk forward. And the other thing you want to think of is try not to rotate your ribs up. Let me see if I can give you guys a good view here. All right. When I come up here, when I start getting tight in my shoulders, I'm going to rotate my chest up to get extra range of motion. Don't do that. Keep your ribs in their natural position. That way you're actually stretching the muscles that need to be stretched instead of compensating with other joints like your spine. So once you've got the right, come back and do the left. Same setup. Hand up against your object. Creep forward until you find you're starting to get a stretch. Then move your head around to find the spot. Once you find it, use your arm as a little extra weight to get a better stretch. Another thing to look for is you want to make sure you're keeping your arm straight. Don't have your arm bent. That's going to allow some of the slack to come into these muscles in the back of your neck, and then you won't get as good a stretch. Some of you will feel that this isn't a great stretch because these muscles aren't really tight on you. Your neck tension comes from other places. A lot of you will probably discover that these muscles are a lot tighter than you thought they were. And again, hold that for about 1 to 2 minutes to get a good stretch out of it. So there's a simple neck stretch for the back of your neck. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to my channel. That helps me bring you more content. Follow me on my blog to get more information, or hit me up with comments down below if you have questions or feedback. Thanks everyone, and in the meantime, keep your life in motion.